All right. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Episode 9 of No One Can Agree. I'm Joe Love. With me, I have a panel. We got Alan, we got Judge, and we got Jay. We'll have a few others joining us soon here. But let's get right into the topics today. Today, we're going to be talking about the Facebook Live car crash incident that happened with the 18-year-old and her 14-year-old sister who unfortunately passed. We're also going to be talking about Michael Vick. Uh, we're going to be also talking about Kyrie Irving and him wanting out of Cleveland. We're also going to touch on Jess Hilarious and her views on supporting Black businesses. Uh, we might also touch on the latest Trump incident today if we have time. But without further ado, what's up, gentlemen? How are you guys doing today?
Feeling good, feeling great.
Good, good,
Swell, man.
good to hear. Uh, all right, let's start off with the car crash. Did any of you gentlemen get a chance to see the video? I did, and I was very disturbed by it. So it brings up the question uh, with this generation in particular, uh, when is social media or how is it taking over lifestyle that people have? Like, when is it not okay? Because we look at it and we see her filming while she's driving, and it's not all right. It's not something you need to be doing. So for anybody who didn't actually see or hear about it, it was an 18-year-old girl in California. She was driving with her 14-year-old sister and another young girl passenger. She was Facebook living as she drove. Uh, she she crashed. The vehicle flipped. She continued to Facebook live as the car flipped and the accident occurred. She continued after the accident to Facebook Live her little sister dying and eventually died on camera. Uh, what do you guys make of this? Why would she film this? And then what else is disturbing is what she was saying while she was filming. She might have been in shock or whatever, but her parents came out with a statement saying it has ruined their lives. This whole incident has ruined their entire lives. What are you guys' thoughts on it? And what do you think about this young generation and using social media in every aspect of of their lives?
First off, I want to say, prayers out to their family and loved ones. This incident definitely probably hit them really hard. Um, After reading this article, it definitely hit me in the chest too because I mentor kids. And I also do a presentation on the do's and don'ts of social media. And to hear about something like this is um, like words can explain. It's like it's senseless. But we have seen other Facebook Live videos of people videoing things that are inappropriate. I don't know what made her continue that instead of calling for help 911. Um, Here's a quote from the video that says, "Everybody, if I go to effing jail for life, you already know why. My sister is effing dying." This is quoted from the video. Kids, I really don't. I don't even have the words to even understand, or um, I'm trying to think of something off the top of my head dealing with psychology, but at this time, my mind is drawing a blank because this is new to me. This is new to me. But like I said, we've seen the other behaviors on Facebook Live, such as people getting arrested while flashing their money, people holding up drugs on Facebook Live and getting arrested, stuff like that. But to read about a story where someone's sister films their dying sister is senseless. It's crazy.
Um, I'd like to second what Alan pushed with his opinion on informing this generation on how to properly use social media, and I agree with Alan 100%. It and as far as the parents coming forward that this child, that their daughter ruined their lives, I think they need to take a little bit of responsibility as well, as far as what they didn't do or what they didn't say that
Mhm.
would have encouraged or let their oldest daughter think that that was okay. Nowhere in any situation should you be filming or on the phone, on the cell phone period, while you're driving with your little sister or with your siblings in the back filming
with anybody.
anything. That's just not safe. And with the daughter thinking that that was okay, I would question their parents, I guess, tutelage or the influence that they had in their daughter's life to even fathom that that would be all right to do first and foremost. So they
Yeah.
have to take responsibility, and it's tragic, and I feel bad. I feel bad for the family that it ended so tragically. But number one is taking responsibility. Um, but this generation, these millennials, man, they like we said, we see all kind of inappropriate things posted on Facebook. So
You know,
that's my thoughts, man.
okay. You know, I think we're missing the a fundamental part of this story, and that was that the girl was drunk.
That's
Oh,
true.
I
So
didn't know that.
That's true.
Okay,
She
I
was
didn't
yeah,
know
drunk.
that.
so
She
Okay.
was
she
18.
was under the
18 years old.
influence. She was
Yeah.
drinking,
Mm.
and if she was drinking, I mean, they all were drinking, and they're all drinking, and they're all riding. So we know young people and everybody. We know drinking and driving is a big thing in the world.
Mhm.
So young people, young ladies drinking and driving. Cell phones don't mix when you're drinking and driving. You're impaired. You're on a cell phone. You're filming. All of these things um, combined will result in a tragic situation. What you see, her filming this as it's going on, I would probably equate that to her being drunk, meaning she was drunk and her being under the influence. She's doing ridiculous stuff since she was already doing. In
Mhm.
her mind, she's thinking she's gonna die too. So, you know, she's not thinking. Um, so that's what she's gonna do. That's why when a person's under the influence, they're gonna say, "I don't care," blah blah blah. They're gonna ramble, and it seems to me from the transcript of what I'm reading, she's rambling. Um, so, and it could be multiple different things from maybe even a trauma or what have you at the same time of you watching what's going on. Now you're going through some type of psychological trauma and you're seeing this going on, and so you behave erratically, and a lot of people don't understand. Um, I would again go and say, okay, this girl was drunk. They all were drunk, and it's a tragic situation here. But yes, social media and putting things on social media is a big problem. But that's because of and it's not just this generation, because you see grown, old adult people who you would think would have some type of wisdom being just as ignorant, if not more childish, on social media. And so they're all doing this. And it goes back to the ego, and it goes back to everybody wants to be seen, everybody wants to be heard, and everybody wants to feel that somebody somewhere see them and got something to say about it, whether it's good or bad.
Okay. Yeah, I did miss that she was intoxicated. That's true. So that would double the imparity of
Mhm.
that. Reggie, welcome to episode 9. We're just discussing the 18-year-old California girl who was live streaming herself driving as she crashed and killed her 14-year-old little sister. Do you have any thoughts on that as far as the generation where social media is more important than life? It would seem, or that it's just kind of taken over all aspects, where everything has to be online, everything has to be documented. What do you think about that? What's your feelings?
My only thoughts on it. Can y'all hear me?
Yep. Yeah, we can hear
Yeah,
you.
yeah. My only thoughts on it was, it's just a product of of today's environment. One thing that kind of stands out to me is if you ever see a thunderstorm and the lights go out, just watch uh, how people act. Like people don't really know. Like we come from a generation where you could kind of remember um life without all this entertainment. I mean, I remember growing up with no. We had one TV, so if my parent was watching the TV, I'd have to find something else to do. There was no game to play. This is when I was really young, but there was no game to play. There was nothing else to do. You had to figure something else out to do that didn't involve something electrical. Um, but I watch my son nowadays. When the electricity goes out, he's lost. Like he don't know what to do. He don't know what to do with his life. Like he don't have any sense of what to do because
Yeah.
so much of his life is consumed with electronics.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I just think it's just a product of the environment. The only real issue that was concerning to me was that the girl didn't have no sense of compassion. Now I understand y'all said that she was under the influence, but it seems like to me, even under the influence, you still would be able to rationalize to some degree the severity of what was happening. And she was just in a total, I don't, I really don't give a damn. I'm just trying to get my views up. Let me show everybody what just happened type of feel. And to me, that was just kind of, it just took me to another place. Like, man, that's, you know, the one thing all humans should have is some sort of compassion. And she just didn't have,
Hmm.
she didn't have no compassion.
But
Yeah,
alcohol will do that to you.
Right.
yeah, it was unfortunate. I think
Yeah.
just her reaction to seeing her sister laying there dead, and she shook her face, and
Hmm.
it was kind of like she didn't, like she said she cared and she loved her sister. She was telling her to wake up, but it didn't seem like she really cared that her sister was sitting there dead because she still had her phone. She was cognizant enough to have that phone out filming it. So
Right.
I don't know.
Remember,
It was
she
bad.
probably, that's right. And she probably didn't care anyway, because if you cared, you never would have had your baby sister and another young girl in the car drinking and y'all drinking and driving.
Yeah.
Right.
First and foremost, the most fundamental thing, you never would have gotten a car in the first place and been just that reckless in your
Hmm.
behavior. So this isn't the
Right.
first time she's done it. This is normal behavior for her and all of them. This isn't something new. And the parents are upset, but 9 times out of 10, you said this earlier, I guarantee this is something that's normal. She's probably, and it may not be true, but she's probably she's probably a problem for them anyway.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt
Hmm.
about it. I would
And
suspect that.
so,
That would just be speculation, though.
of
Uh,
course,
and nothing can happen to the parents because she was 18.
wrong.
Uh, what can happen to the parents? The girl was 18 years old. She's adult.
Unless
Well,
the other
if
girl is
she's
drinking.
right, and then if she's still in high school, the 18-year-old, if she's still in high school, she's still under that parental view. Depending on what state you're in. Now, in Mississippi, you're still under parental view if you're in high school and 18.
Just because she failed don't mean it's my fault. Yeah. No, let me stop.
Yeah.
Let me stop. Let me stop. That's not funny.
All right, all right, fellas. Let's move on to some lighter topic, but still intense. We're gonna move on to sport. Um, Michael Vick, a week after he made the comments about Colin Kaepernick needing to cut his hair, get rid of the afro, be more presentable, he lands a job with Kansas City Chiefs under Andy Reid as a looks like he's grooming him to become a coach. Uh, What do you make of that move by the Chiefs to hire Vic after those comments? And it do you think it correlates at all, or is it just one of those timing things? Because Michael Vick has been out of the spotlight for a while, but these last 2 weeks he's popped up.
Well, I agree with his comments, so I think it was a good move on.
Here we go.
I'll say
Here we
this:
go, man.
he's a coaching intern, so that's what it is. It has nothing to do with his comments early in the week. That's media and social media pulling that.
Man, I don't
He's
want
probably this is probably something he's already had in the works, and so he's going at an intern to kind of see how it is, and he may go back and be a high school coach or junior high, something like that. A lot of players are going back to be high school coaches, so it is what it is, man. You're going down there as an intern to learn. That's all. He ain't got a job. He just intern, so that's all it is.
Listen, it may have been in the works. I don't doubt that. I don't doubt that it was something that has been coming to pass for quite some while. But I will say this: his comments did not hurt him getting that job.
Exactly.
Because that
ain't a
is
job.
what the NFL is looking for, that poster child point of view on how you should act accordingly if you have certain positions within that organization. You can't tell me that they don't.
Get off. They wouldn't use Michael Vick. Get off the gas for them. Use Michael Vick.
Why they wouldn't? He already proved.
That's like using Plexico Paris. No, you're not gonna use Michael Vick.
No. He's paid.
That's like getting Ray Rice, man. That's like getting Ray Rice.
Like Joe said,
I disagree.
Mike been MIA for a minute, and then all of a sudden, here go Mike Vick.
Mike Vick wasn't MIA. Mike Vick was on a team just last year. He just didn't play.
He went MIA.
Mike was not.
What team Mike was on, man?
I forgot. San Francisco, I think. I don't remember. He was on somebody's bench. I know that.
Come on, man.
He ain't been nowhere, man. I told media. Here's one thing that's true. If Michael Vick had never said nothing and media hadn't spent that out, he'd have became a coach and intern in Kansas City and nobody would have known. Because you wouldn't have cared. But Michael Vick's trending right now because of something he said 2 weeks ago. So now you see it on the front page of a website, and it's clickbait for you. This ain't nothing new. It ain't nothing going. What I'm saying is, because he's trending, it showed up, and now you see it. So
I feel you on that.
Let's not make it anything more than that. If you do, you're facilitating the whole propaganda nonsense.
Nah.
Okay.
And look, what Vic said was 100% factual. I'm not gonna go back into it because y'all already discussed it. Y'all have already discussed it, so I'm not gonna go back into it. But it was 100% factual. So being that it was 100% factual, him getting a job, he's just another man getting a job. Simple as that.
All it is.
That's all it is.
He climbed on top of his back to get that, man.
No, he didn't, man.
No way.
Man in the post, man, get out the way.
No way.
Come on, man.
Man, he's just a coach and intern. It ain't like it's no serious job.
I'm telling you, he ain't got no job.
How many people get those opportunities?
You'd be surprised. A lot of them.
It's just a coach and intern. It ain't like it's a
but still,
offensive coordinator or a quarterback's coach.
I understand. But there are plenty of Pee Wee coaches that probably have never gotten in that place.
And they don't deserve to. They have no experience.
Why not?
It's about who you know. I mean, what you want. You say, oh man, Michael Vick done danced his way up to getting on Andy Reid's team to be an intern. How come I ain't get that opportunity? Man, ain't nobody worried about you.
Might put on his shiny shoes, man.
No, he didn't. Off the gas, man. I'm revving up the gas.
Okay. So moving on. All right.
Okay.
Take it easy.
It's been good, bro.
All right.
All right.
All right. So in other NFL news, Cowboy receiver Lucky Whitehead was in the news earlier this week about a shoplifting incident from June. That was a $200 shoplifting incident. Turns out they were doing investigations. While the investigation was going on, the Cowboys released him. Then the next day, it came out that it was mistaken identity. That was not him, and he lost his job. The Cowboys have not given him his job back. There's been word that other teams are looking to sign him. What do you think about how the Cowboys handled that situation, how the media handled it, and what happened to Lucky?
I think they handled it the exact same way my job would handle it. The reason I say that is I actually just completed it's like this little training that we have to do, which basically ask us all these questions like, have you committed a felony in the past year? Have you been accused of a felony, or are you under pending investigation regarding a felony or a criminal act? It asks about misdemeanors, things like that. Basically, if you are guilty of being a pending investigation, then they have the rights to fire you. And that's exactly what the Cowboys did. Now, what I don't like is the response after firing. You can at least acknowledge that you were wrong in your firing him, or your reasoning for firing him. But I don't have an issue with them firing him based off of an ongoing investigation.
Interesting. I look at this the same way I look at Colin Kaepernick. If you performing, you ain't gotta never worry about getting a job. So if you was doing your thing, I promise you they'd never cut you. They wouldn't have cut you. They say, hey, let me see what's going on right quick. Let me make sure everything. How's the investigation going, Lucky? Oh, it's going? Okay, that wasn't you? Excellent, excellent. Well, we were behind you 100%. When you're a scrub. So it's unfortunate that the guy got his information, social and all that, and was able to give it all to the police. How in the hell he got all your information, steal it, and give your information exactly to the police is beyond me. And his last name happened to be Whitehead. I don't know. They got to know how to use the worst luck ever, or that's some suspicious shit.
So now we're saying that the reason that Colin Kaepernick is out of a job is because he's a scrub, and
I'm
not
saying
because he was blackballed.
Well, you missed my point. I'm saying Colin Kaepernick out of a job like Lucky Whitehead out of a job because they can't win no football games. And they ain't performing.
That's BS, man. That's BS. Come on, man. Look, I can't remember who replaced Colin Kaepernick.
Do it matter? Look at the numbers.
Yeah, it matters because I just looked up the stats.
Mm-hmm.
I heard Shannon Sharp going over the stats this morning, and it ain't no way that guy should have landed a position over.
That ain't what I asked you. Last year, what were the stats? Since you looked at Shannon Sharp, because it wasn't good.
Say.
It wasn't good. Listen, all I'm saying is, if you balling, you win a football game. Team gonna take care of it. If you ain't winning and you ain't performing, that's just what it is. Like it or not. That's fact.
Case in point, Ezekiel Elliott.
Yeah, case in point.
Getting a big ass buy right now. He still got a job.
I don't have my
look. Ray Rice
I don't have
beat
my
his
Kaepernick stats to combat.
Check this out. Ray Rice beat his woman, and the team held it down just a little bit, as long as they possibly could, until they just couldn't no more. if you perform, Le'Veon Bell, he finna get millions, and he can't stop being suspended for drugs. All I'm saying is, if you performing, you can do what you want, pretty much. You ain't
unless you take a knee to the flag.
No, when Colin did that, look at the stats. When he did that, and then he was playing the same year, he wasn't winning football games. They were like at the bottom of the list.
All right.
Okay, if you're gonna take a knee, you better be winning when you do taking a knee for the game winner. If you losing, you ain't making it happen. You going, that's just what it is. Shit, what you want? Win the football game.
I will say that Lucky Whitehead is one of the better kick returners. That's what the argument that some people would make. But I mean, you talking about a guy that's still dispensable. You can get rid of him.
There you go.
I don't think the Cowboys would really be losing nothing by getting rid of him. They can always find somebody to replace him. So,
that's all I'm saying. You ain't top dog. You ain't no star, man. You expendable.
Right.
Sucks.
Okay, so y'all have no remorse that the man lost his job for no reason.
That man got in. Sorry.
That's what it sounded like.
Hey, I do think I agree with Reggie, man. I mean, it shows poor. It shows. I don't want to. It's poor character on the Cowboys' part for them not to have come out with an apology, a public apology, man. If the guy was clearly exonerated, and it was mistaken identity. That's terrible, man.
Right. Yeah.
Your boss ain't finna apologize for firing.
He caught a bad break. He caught a bad break.
It looks bad on the organization when they don't acknowledge when they were wrong, though.
Didn't he? Wasn't he just in the news for somebody stole his dog or something crazy?
Yeah, I think so. Some guy stole his dog, held a hostage or something. I think that was him.
Yeah, lucky don't sound too lucky these days.
Not at all.
I guess the bigger question would be if he's really that great of a returner, has he found another place of employment yet?
He probably will.
Has he found one yet? Because if he's really that great, you think people, especially this time of the year, people will be, scooping him up fast because, they don't really
I think I saw something where he did land a job, I think.
Okay.
Buffalo Bills or something.
Okay.
So I think I did see something on the news just recently where somebody picked him up. So,
Okay.
Get your money, man.
Well, moving on, fellas. Kyrie Irving's in the news. Came out that he wants out of Cleveland. He gave a couple teams that he would prefer to play for. He said he doesn't want to be the Robin to LeBron's Batman. He wants to be the guy. I mean, that mentality is sought after, but do you think breaking up that team is a smart idea? And do you think wherever he lands, it will be a better situation? Also, it also came out that LeBron, Stephen A. Smith put out that LeBron was so mad that he might put hands and beat Kyrie's ass, is I think the words that he used. What do you guys think of this mess? How's it gonna go? And where do you think he's gonna land? Like, it's not many places he can land because somebody's got to give up something to get him.
Right. I think that it was I think it's a great move for Kyrie. First of all, LeBron gonna do the same thing next year as far as finding somewhere else to go. He's already trying to set it up. So essentially, what you're asking Kyrie to do is to sit around while you build a team this year, or ask them to build a team this year around you, being LeBron, only to leave next year or potentially leave next year, leaving this man on pin and needles when it comes to his career as far as the team that he'll be left with. So as far as him deciding, man, I just want to get out now, he's just making a move before LeBron get the chance to do so. when it comes to where he could go, I'd like to see him go back home to New York, uh, go play there, and I don't know what it would take for that to happen. Um, but he seemed like the type that would be that would, embellish the role of being the hometown guy and just, kind of making a name for himself in New York and trying to build there.
Okay. I want to welcome Devon to the show. Welcome to episode 9 of No One Can Agree. How you doing?
Devin.
I'm doing well. Had some technical difficulties.
Oh, no doubt, no doubt. So we're discussing Kyrie Irving's announcement that he wants out of Cleveland, uh,
Uh huh.
and then the initial reaction from the media, his teammates. What do you think about it? Was it a good move? Where could he land? Where's he going to end up?
Okay. Well, basically, I mean, it's a good move for him. Personally, if he's not able to make his moves there in Cleveland, I think he could have been a franchise player himself. Anywhere else. So let the man go ahead and make his move and do what he do. As the initial response, everybody gonna feel the way they feel. Everybody's gonna be in their feelings regardless, just like they were when LeBron left the first time. But I mean, it is what it is. It's a business at the end of the day. People got to get out of their personal feelings and realize this man got to take care of his family. He got to do what he needs to do for his family and what he wants to do for his own personal achievements. And if that's, to win a ring on his own without LeBron on his own, then that's what he needs to do.
And can that happen? Do you think that can happen?
I mean, anything can happen, especially in the East. The East is so weak. Reggie and I go back and forth to work about this, man. But I think he could do it with the right elements. But him alone, he's not a player on his own that could do that on his own. He needs the right elements, but I think he has the right attitude. He has that go get it, that winning spirit that he could do it somewhere else.
Okay. Judge, what you got for me?
I don't care.
This guy.
What? I care. Makes me no never mind. I didn't like Cleveland anyway. Unless he going to the Lakers, I don't care.
Well, you definitely don't care because he ain't going there.
No, he definitely ain't going there.
Or San Antonio. Other than that.
He did mention the Spurs.
That would be awesome. I just want to say, but no, I think Kyrie he doesn't want to be second fiddle. But I don't understand. I think he's got a good situation where he is because even if LeBron leaves, he will still be the man after next season. So it doesn't make any sense to me why he would leave. He's got a good team. It's playoff ready. It's finals ready right now.
Yeah.
I'm not sure he's still scoring 40 points a game. I'm not sure what else he wants to do. He could get his assist up, and that'll be like a personal goal for him. But I'm not sure if that amount. Yeah, I think it might be something deeper than that between him and LeBron. I'm not buying that he just wants to be Batman instead of Robin. I'm not buying that.
Well, I think his biggest reason for leaving is that, like I said, they're building a team around LeBron right now. They're not building a team for Kyrie. So if LeBron were to dip, who knows what's left and whether those pieces actually work with Kyrie. And so he's just trying to get the ball rolling prior to that move actually happening.
Hey, that Jay, mute him, Joe.
Somebody better cut that water off and do what Mama telling them to do. Baby finna go cut my water off and I ain't even got near running.
He gonna come back sweaty.
Oh man. The roast session after that while we live. But like I don't know what I mean. Kyrie's best bet would be to team up with someone else. Like you're not gonna get it done with the West being how it is. Golden State's there. They're not going anywhere for the next 2 years. That's been done. They've got the deals done in place, so they're keeping their pieces, their core pieces. San Antonio's always there. Uh, you got the Lakers making moves. I don't think they're gonna do much this season coming up, but maybe the season after that. Uh, so there's a lot going on in the East. There's 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 some wiggle room, so he can get with a team that can definitely make the playoffs. Uh, but like I said, he's not going to be championship ready unless he joins somebody. You also have Minnesota, who they made a bunch of moves this offseason. Jay, I muted you. Let me unmute you.
Is everything all right?
Hold on.
This is a man's circle here, so right now. So you want to talk about it?
Am I still
We're
on?
live, so we ain't gonna say nothing.
Jay, mic check. Can we hear you?
It's still on mute.
You still muted, Jay. You have to unmute yourself.
I think you got to unmute him, Joe. Didn't you mute him?
I did mute him, but it's not letting me unmute him.
No, yeah.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, there we go.
We hear you now.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
We hear you. Well, we thought you was in trouble, man. We had
somebody was in trouble.
Hey, hold on. We're not gonna.
Don't come back cool like didn't happen.
Yeah,
it's all good.
Jay, what's your thoughts on Kyrie Irving wanting out of Cleveland and LeBron?
Oh man, I agree with Devon, man. You know, he gotta make the right move for him. You know, it can affect Cleveland in a negative way next year, but you know, just like LeBron gonna make a move, he gotta shoot first. So it becomes a business decision at the end of the day. I hope to see him go somewhere where he can be productive. So.
But I would say this is his best move, and their best move would be to stay together. Yeah. They just added Derrick Rose to the mix, so all of them together, I think
Derrick Rose ain't.
Hold on a second. I think having Derrick Rose, if you think about the playoffs this past year, the problem was not they starting five. The problem was when they had to sit down to rest, they couldn't sit down. So they're playing the whole game. You take them out for 2 minutes, and the Warriors will go on a 10-0 run. You know, they just couldn't get a rest. But now if you add a Derrick Rose in there, you add a player who can score, who
Derrick
can also
Rose
drive.
Glass,
hold on. He can drive and kick to somebody else and allow them to score. Some of those shooters that they had. So that was one thing they were missing. You think about that lineup, that bench from last year. There was nobody else there that could create a shot. So you were just left with either Kyrie or LeBron having to play maximum minutes in order to get any kind of production from the bench.
Well, let me chime in on that because, I mean, you could throw Derrick Rose in the mix. You could throw almost anybody in the mix. But what I go down to is I think it's deeper than that. I think it's an intangible factor that none of us can see that's going on in Cleveland. I've read a report earlier with Chauncey Billups, and he said that he knows something that's going on deeper that we don't know, and that's why he turned down, this job here at Cleveland. Now, that could also be a determining factor why Kyrie wants to leave Cleveland. So it's some things that go on in the locker room that we don't know what's going on. It's things that go on in the front office we don't know as fans that ultimately make them make these decisions. So if this man knows what we don't know, and he know that him and LeBron can't get it done together for whatever reason, Chauncey Billups know that, and he ain't take the job. So I feel like he making the right move for whatever reason. You know what I'm saying? I don't think they can get it done in Cleveland anymore. That's a done deal. Now with the elements they have.
You can actually see it too. And if I'm not mistaken, on one of our first podcasts, I actually mentioned it during the playoffs. I was like, I think there's something going on there because you can see that whenever Kyrie celebrates, he's always celebrating with JR. I mentioned it in one of the first podcasts we had.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, because he never was celebrating with LeBron. So I was asking at that time, did y'all think there was any kind of friction between the two? And now it just seemed like it's coming to light. That, it's more to it than just,
Yeah, you can. These guys ain't sending each other birthday texts and exchanging Christmas cards. I think it's done pretty much there. And if it wasn't done, it's definitely done now because the media didn't tore it up.
It's over anyway. They realize that tandem ain't gonna win a championship with Durant and Golden State right now. It's not gonna happen. No matter how much we want to wish them luck, they're not finna win that championship. So you might as well leave.
But see, the reason I think they should stay together is it only take one roll of an ankle, one bad fall in Golden State. If you have KD or Steph to go down, it changes the whole complexion of that team. You no longer have that four-headed monster. It's now three guys, and they become more of a normal team. Now, it's still a very good team, a team that won, 72, 73 games. It's still a very good team, but it's a team that you can actually compete with at that point if one of those two were to go down. So that's why I was saying I think they should stay together. That's the best basketball move, but obviously if they got some kind of friction going on, it don't matter. If the chemistry ain't there, it don't matter how much talent you got. It's just not gonna work.
Okay. So let's change directions here a little bit. I guess last week, the YouTuber, comedian, Just Hilarious, came out with a video about why she doesn't support black businesses. And she gave some of her own personal experiences with black businesses to note that she did not support black businesses because she feels like they need to be carried or given more of a break than other nationality businesses. Uh, do you agree with it? And then she came back and clarified that if a black owned business was doing everything properly, she would definitely give them their business. She just doesn't take to bad business or bad business practices, such as closing hours posted and not being there when the hours are posted and things like that. I know a lot of you guys already watched it. I'm not sure if everyone watched it in the panel, but what do you think about the support of black businesses and what she said talked about, and do you agree or disagree uh, with her views?
Uh, Let me first. I
Go
agree
ahead.
with 90% of what she said. I too have been bitten by the by the brunt end of bad businesses dealing with African American businesses. But I think it's important that we don't single out African American businesses because there are you can find bad business anywhere in all corners of the globe, not just with our people, but with any group of people. Um, One thing that I noticed that our people do when we talk about bad businesses is we take up for our African American businesses in spite of, and I think we need to stop doing that because you don't do that with any other business. You know, if you got bad pizza from an Italian restaurant, you wouldn't go back. You surely wouldn't defend a restaurant on bad personal service uh, after you feel like you've been wrong. So I think we need to stop doing that as a group. It's like we got this training wheels mentality when it comes to African American businesses, and we need to get out of that. We need to strive for professionalism, especially within our. So in order to nullify that stereotype, it's gonna take us striving for better personal service. Better personal service is the key word. That's just my thoughts.
Okay.
All right.
Oh,
Well, I disagree with what she says, and I also agree with what she says. In the notion that what she's saying, is stereotypical, but I mean that's with all business. But with black businesses, yes, you will go show up and then say we open till 10. You get there 9:15 and they close. But what we have to realize is what I want to go into and I'll try to be short with my words, but I want to go back to the historical prosperity of black business in this country. And we've had successful business commerce within the black community that's been destroyed through systemic racism, systemic legislation, and whatnot. All those components have basically put us where we are to get today with our businesses. Me myself, briefly having a small business myself, have dealt with that on one end, and then also being a black consumer, which I also want to touch base on, is that us as black consumers also don't support black businesses when we do go on black businesses. We have to realize we don't have the same opportunities as a lot of these other foreigners that come into our country that are giving grants, they're giving loans, they're giving things to open up a beauty shop in our neighborhood. They're giving grants to open up convenience stores where we have to struggle to do what we need to do. We don't have wholesale prices. So therefore, when we come into our brothers and sisters establishments that they've built from the ground up, and we ask for a quote unquote hookup, that hookup is not helping them build their business. We're not helping them. We don't go to KFC and ask for hookup on a 3-piece, $6.99 and 2 side. You know what I'm saying? But we'll go to the
You know
brother's
the dude
chat
in the
that
window,
got
you
the
do.
barbecue, and we're gonna try to get a hookup on his food. You know, they're selling food on the side of the highway. You know, and that's where I have a problem with, you know, with the young lady on the video. Well, I don't want this, that one did, and you know, black, whatever her rant was about black business. We have to realize that we don't have all the components, and we all have to work together cohesively to get back to what we were 100 years ago in this country with our independent businesses that were thriving, that were successful. In example, Black Wall Street. In example, the establishment of Rosewood in Florida, establishments in Mississippi, Arkansas. I can go on and on and on and on and on about the how we were in this country. And we just need to get back to those roots by supporting each other, and that's what we need to do. We just need to support each other, stop complaining, stop asking for hookups. Instead of trying to get a hookup, give a brother a tip. That's what we need to do. Give more than what they're asking for instead of trying to get less.
No doubt.
That's all
No
I'm
doubt. I
saying.
like that.
Hey, here's the disclaimer, Devin, if you don't know. I don't know if Richard told you, but I slap him around a lot on here when he says things.
You did what now?
I slap him around a lot when he says things.
Uh-huh.
So with that disclaimer being said, I'm going to slap you around just a little bit. Okay.
Come on with it.
All right. So I do agree with you first, okay, that what she's saying, she's singing on our black businesses. I think she did that for impact factor, you know, just for that gas, right?
Yeah.
She understands, just like I do, that any business that is in America or anywhere that doesn't provide great customer service and that does not provide quality products and services won't get my business. I don't give a damn what color you are, or quote color, because that's just how I wrote it. I think if you do good business, you get good service, you'll be fine. You won't have a problem from people. You won't have an issue being successful. You won't have an issue with having to rely on a single demographic for business. This is fact. When you look at it from a broader standpoint, okay, in American culture, we are consuming culture. That's what we do. For example, your barbershops. For example, your restaurants. Normally, we're going to patronize you, and anybody will patronize you if your food is good and your service is good. That's just period, because we love to eat. When you start to get into things like hair care products, when you start to get into things like grocery stores, etc., we seem to act as though we're not American, meaning we try to act like, oh, well, just because I'm black, I'm something special other than American. What needs to be realized is this, and it go back to me, and this is me disagreeing with you with the whole Black Wall Street and the hookup line, right? So I'm going to touch on first the hookup line. you can't compare somebody who fries chicken in a restaurant to KFC. KFC always got the hookup. $5 box, 3-piece, 2 biscuits and 2 sides for $5. The hookup is automatic, it's constant. So when someone's running a business, they've got to figure out, okay, if I'm catering to a specific demographic, like KFC does, they're gonna cater their plans and their services. For example, I got to figure out how to feed these families in this community that I'm in who meet this certain medium income, who live at this certain standard. So I can't be selling $12 2 pieces and 2 sides and a damn cornbread roll because they can make that at home. So I got to figure something out. So let's not assume that this is an American commerce that we're dealing with. Okay, first and foremost. Now, when you talk about foreigners, right, you're referring to people who come to this country with a cultural mindset and a cultural standard that they've already set up that's not an American standard. They come from an environment where business is booming, well, not necessarily booming, but they come from a country, most people come from countries where business is the #1 thing. Nobody eats unless somebody's out there fishing and on the market early in the morning. Nobody eats unless they're already picking the vegetables, already got it set up, and they're in the market ready. These are the people who comes to the United States with that mindset automatically. This is not an American mindset to think business 100%. Because in America, we're thinking, what can we buy? Who can we go and buy food from? Who can we go and get fish from? Not how can we provide it. Okay? So
now you open up a whole nother door there. Yeah.
Well, but what I'm saying is all of this plays a part in what she's saying. In her ignorance, she can't articulate this way because on Facebook and Twitter, you got to try to be, you know, and she probably isn't even thinking this deep into it. And most people who are commenting, calling her names and disliking it aren't thinking that critical either. So we've got to look at it in multiple different ways like that. And I do agree with you. The Black Wall Street or those businesses that were in those areas, the Rosewood where the communities were together, but those were out of necessity when you were thinking survival. Now, we're all assimilated into American culture. And now American culture is, who can I go and buy something from because I don't want to have to go and do something. It's easier for me to go and buy it from somewhere rather than me grow it or kill it. And so those are the things that we're dealing with. And it's not just us, it's American culture. So it's all people in America. And you notice that because foreigners come and they start to do the same thing. They assimilate into American
Let me ask
culture
you something.
and they buying stuff. Go ahead.
Let me ask you what you just said specifically about that being out of necessity, because I agree with that. Black Wall Street, all those things are schools, our HBCUs, all those things were created out of necessity because we were barred from being able to be with them. Now, do you not think now today in 2017 that is still not out of necessity that us as Black people need to get back to that way of that type of commerce and that economic build for purposes of building our own communities, for one, two, to have political power, because without economic power you have no political power, without political power you have no legislative power, with no legislative power you have no freedom. So I mean, all those things are components that work hand in hand, and without us supporting Black businesses, then we don't have that basic element or foundation to be able to gain that power and independence and freedom. I mean, do you agree with that statement?
If that was true, yes. The thing is, again, we and it's not just us, we allow people to tell us that something's not something. It's not what it is. We allow people to tell us so many times. So when people say something, especially in the media and whatever that's around us, they're regurgitating something of information that's 40, 50 years old. If you were to ask me today, are Black businesses better off today than they were 100 years ago? I would say yes. I would say because there are so many. The number one Black-owned business in America is two of them. The number one Black-owned businesses in America is a Nigerian oil company and a tech firm. Okay, billion-dollar companies, billion-dollar companies, and so right off the top, and then there are billion-dollar, and there are several billion-dollar companies, and then there are million-dollar companies, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Everybody here can open a business for whatever, and they can have customers that come from all walks of life, as long as the service is there. If you're providing quality service and quality products, everybody will buy from you. Only your bigots and those who think that, oh, well, I'm not going to go buy from them because they're black. Or, right, you got the black people who will say, oh, well, I'm not going to go and patronize them because they're black and they're not going to do right. So you have the ignorant, but the ignorant is only a small crumb of it, though we try to magnify them to be much more than what they are, but they're not. So yes,
now you make a valid point that you make a valid point that black businesses nowadays do have more access to more customers. You know what I'm saying? We're out there. We have white customers, everything. But the problem is with our economic powers that will take our money and we'll spend it with the other people. We won't spend it with ourselves. See, the Jewish people, they'll open up a business, they'll hire their own family, and they'll make their money and they'll spend their money with their people. The Asians will do the same thing. Hispanics will do the same thing. We'll go work for the man, we'll make the man's money, and we'll go spend that money right back with the man. And we won't keep that within our community. Therefore, we're not able to continue to build for our own. We're not able to own land in vastivity. We're not able to own corporations. We own businesses. We don't own corporations. We get rich. We don't get wealthy. You see what I'm saying? That there's a vast difference between those two. And that's because they're supporting each other.
No, it's because the more you hear it, the more you believe it to be true. I can tell you that's far from being true. I can tell you that is far from being true. We have corporations. There are black corporations. The two I just told you, billion-dollar corporations, and there are several others here in the United States that are billion-dollar corporations owned by black people.
And I don't doubt that.
They're black owned. There are lots of them. And when you talk about culture practices, you use Jewish culture, but they come from, that's a country of origins culture that they bring and practice here through immigration. When you talk about American culture, which is what I'm trying to get everybody to understand, not just you guys, but the people listening to understand American culture. American culture is we're going to buy. We don't care where you come from. We don't care. As long as you've got it for the cheapest price and you've got it and it's quality. We're not going to buy.
It's called capitalism, man.
Well, it's called you want what you want it cheap and you want it good. That's just what it is. Now, if you can provide that, then that's capitalism. But we're biased.
Let me say this.
Go ahead.
I don't agree with anything she said. And the reason absolutely nothing. I mean, the reason that I don't is because to me, it's almost like a inferiority complex where you just think of it this way. If a white individual goes to a supercut and that supercut jack up their hair, you don't see them on Facebook Live talking about how all white businesses suck. You know, how white business don't treat me right, or they ain't never on time, or they can't cut my hair right, they ain't doing this, they ain't doing that. Mm-hmm. Why do we do that to ourselves as, let me point out these businesses that I've gone to and generalize all of black businesses based off of my experiences with a few bad businesses. I don't agree with that at all. And I don't agree with anything she was saying. I think, she was just a comedian that was making a joke that wasn't really funny. I just don't agree with it.
You're right. I agree. I think it's more wow factor than she actually, because she used the most silly, some of the silliest examples. They don't come in on time. Stuff like that is stupid. But when you talk about actual business, there are businesses that are ran that you say, man, certain people shouldn't be running certain businesses. I got to be honest. But yeah, I think it was just her kind of the theatrics. I don't think she really believes what she was saying. Because she seemed like she was feeding into the people who were commenting. more than she was trying to make an accurate point about real Black business in America. And that's what most people do. They feed into that narrative that, oh, we don't have, and we don't do, and we don't have, and that's bullshit. That's 100% bullshit. I'm gonna say it, and it's not for you, Devin, but anybody who thinks that Black business today ain't booming and getting it in, they full of shit, and they're just being true. Let's not say that. Let's not say we ain't got and we ain't doing and we ain't making it work, because we are. We're just looking at it. We're not looking at it from an American cultural standpoint. We're trying to make it, its own little thing. And I'm sorry, but we've all integrated into American culture now, and we all think and behave as Americans.
So let me throw this in here. Do y'all think or agree with the? I'm just bouncing off what Reggie just said.
Yeah.
That Black people in America are more critical, outwardly critical of Black-owned businesses than any other race?
Definitely.
Absolutely.
That's not even up for debate. I don't think anybody would oppose that statement on this panel.
I don't know, because I don't talk to a lot of other people.
Do you think any other people are more critical than ourselves on ourselves? That's basically what he said. We're more critical on ourselves than any other person.
Right.
Well, I don't know. Again, I don't know, because I don't talk to Hispanics and about their business with Hispanic businesses, and I don't talk to Chinese people about Chinese business, et cetera, et cetera. So I wouldn't know. But now,
the fact that we even having this conversation.
But that's us talking about us. That's different.
That's what he just said.
Yeah, I see what Judge is saying. No, I see what Judge is saying. He's saying that we're talking amongst ourselves, right, about Black businesses. But have you asked a white person? Have they talked bad about a white business, or a Chinese person about a Chinese? I don't know. I've never heard about it. But then again.
But if they do, they keep it amongst themselves. When we do it, we have stand-up comedians talk about it. We have people talk about it in social media. We have people talk about it on Facebook. So if they talk about it, we don't see it. That like Brother Judge just said, he don't hear Hispanics saying or this and that, because if they do, it's amongst closed doors and amongst themselves, and we don't know about it. But everybody know we talk about ourselves. Everybody know we call each other nigga. Everybody know we do that because it's out there. It's in our music. It's in our movies. It's in our stand-up comedy. It's in everything.
My wife is Hispanic, and I ain't never heard her talk about no. Period.
Has she ever said, I'm not going to that Mexican market because they always have nets on their vegetables?
Hell no.
No.
Go to the Mexican market.
You know, and this is the crazy part that you mentioned that. The crazy part that you mentioned that is we will ride somewhere and she'll see the most rundown Mexican joint you can find and be ready to stop. Me, I'm ready to keep going.
Or is she immigrantized?
She is Americanized as you can be.
She like Tex-Mex?
She's from Texas, so yeah.
Yeah, because I'll go to the most rundown Mexican restaurant because to me they make the best tacos.
That's what she was saying.
The best any restaurant, best barbecue, everything. Be mom and pop shop.
Yeah, but but yeah, but I'm Americanized, so I can say certain Mexican. I'll go for the meat, but I won't get the fruit and vegetables because there's nets all over. They let it rot up on me. I'll say that. I'm like, wait a minute.
You criticizing Mexican business too.
I'm an American. Listen, Americans do. Look, Americans will not patronize you if your stuff ain't right. That's just what we do. I mean,
I'm not gonna lie. I might be different here, but I don't really look at who owns what business I go to, man. I don't care.
That's an American thought process.
Yeah, as an American, I don't care who the hell owns the gas station I pump my gas at. I don't give a damn who it is. I don't care who owns the Taco Bell down the street. I don't care who owns the McDonald's down the street. It could be a black dude. It could be a Jewish guy. It can be a Chinese man. I wouldn't give a damn. I know if I get bad service, I'm talking about them and I'm not going back there. That's the bottom line. I really don't care if it's black. I don't care about race and ownership. It's all about service for me.
And you know, white people
I,
use a
I
suggestion
don't like,
box
yeah,
in Google.
I don't like hearing that black people or anybody just talking about a race just because it's a race. You know what I'm saying? That
That's
doesn't make
right.
sense. If it's bad service, it's bad service. I'm sorry.
You're right on, Joe.
That's true, man. I used to sell cars, man, and they used to tell me, one guy came in one time and I used to sell cars 15 years ago. He said, "Man, you treat me good, I'll go back and tell all my friends, but you treat me bad, I'm gonna go tell everybody."
Yeah.
And that stuck with me forever about good customer service, man. You treat somebody right, man. You come back with service. You treat them bad, they go tell everybody they can, man.
Yeah. I think even like with bad, even if a product is bad, maybe you get a bad quality product. If the service is good, you still may come back there
Mm-hmm.
just because of how they treat you and how they made you feel
Right.
as a
That's
customer.
true.
Even if something that was broke, didn't work properly. So I don't really buy that. I think it's silly. I do see that a lot on social media. So I know it's a thing, but I don't buy into it. I don't like it actually.
I don't either. We all agree on that.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not good. It's not good for anybody
Right.
to see that the
Yeah.
behavior they were saying.
Big up the black owned businesses, man. Keep doing y'all thing out there.
That's right. I'm gonna still patronize you unless it's something that I can't return and you got an attitude with me. You don't want me to return it, we don't have a problem.
Yeah.
Other than that, because I don't care if your chicken not good as long as your greens are.
All right. I think we had another topic, but I don't think we're gonna go into it today. We're gonna save that one because it's a big topic. So we're gonna say that for next episode. Uh, Devin, welcome. You did a great job first time on.
Agreed.
Judge Reggie, as always, great. Jay, I know he
Appreciate
had
it.
he had a little difficulty there, but
Yeah,
good
you
for
went off.
having his insight as well. This has been episode 9 of No One Can Agree. Stay tuned for the next episode, guys.